49% have little or no confidence. So how are things going in New Orleans 2 years after the storm? Tonight we begin a special series, The Katrina Recovery. Follow the money.
Katrina and her aftermath caused an estimated $150 billion in Gulf-wide damage and turned this jewel of a city into one giant disaster zone.
Where's FEMA? Where's the mayor?
Please, somebody.
We need some help out here.
Frustrated by the slow pace of recovery, some decided to take matters into their own hands, like Women of the Storm, an organization 600 strong that's conducted tours for 187 members of Congress.
No one can understand the magnitude of the devastation or the challenges unless they see it block by block, mile by mile.
So we went to see for ourselves. We found the city has less than 2/3 the population it once did, but the now infamous Lower 9th Ward, horribly flooded when the levees burst, is still a vision of devastation. New Orleans East, where few still venture, is no better.
There were 32 apartments in this complex in New Orleans East before Katrina hit, and as you can see, what has happened since is very little. All that's left is the shell of a building, bricks, mortar, 2x4s.
We found out there are as many as 120,000 buildings still needing demolition, but the federal program to handle that will end in October. Neighborhoods that look like this on the day of the storm are only beginning to come back.
When will this be back in business?
We have no idea, but in order for these shops to open, they need people. And in order for the people to come back, they need homes and houses. And that hadn't happened.
After the hurricane, President Bush promised to rebuild.
Throughout the area hit by the hurricane, we will do what it takes.
But has the president kept that promise? $116 billion recovery dollars have been earmarked for the Gulf region, almost $60 billion of it to Louisiana alone. Nearly $20 billion was spent in the state on disaster relief. Another $13.5 billion was paid in flood insurance. Finally, $25.5 billion was allocated for rebuilding. Yet of the $116 billion promised, only $6.78 billion has actually been spent on rebuilding New Orleans.
The state have tried so hard to prevent even the appearance of any graft or corruption that they've just put layer upon layer on the individual to go through these hoops.
And it's really resulted in the money never getting to the people who need it.
That is so true.
Less than half of the city's public schools have reopened. Many are worried about a healthcare system still in critical condition and skyrocketing crime. As for those famous levees, they're still being rebuilt at an expected cost of $15 billion, complete with maps predicting future flood risks. But Donald Powell, the federal czar appointed by President Bush to oversee the recovery, concedes the project won't be completed until 2011, 4 hurricane seasons away.
These maps will show at what level of risk they are after these levee systems have been improved. And that's powerful. Information is powerful.
If I looked at those maps, I may not want to come back till 2011.
That's a decision you would have to make.
Powell blames state and local officials for not keeping the money flowing. Those officials complain about the federal government. While the finger pointing continues, even the most enthusiastic boosters admit if there is a comeback, it will take years.
Do you all ever worry that New Orleans is just never going to be the same?
Oh, Katie, it's not going to be the same, but it is going to come back.
And the rebuilding is being seen by many people I spoke to as an opportunity to fix a number of problems in public housing, education, and health care that existed before Katrina. Meanwhile, about that skyrocketing crime rate, the federal government is spending tens of millions of dollars to make New Orleans safe, but crime is worse than ever. We'll have that story tomorrow. And when we come back, it could make flight delays at